The county record showed our house had 4 bedrooms. We only ever found 3. My name's Mark. I'm 58. Spent 26 years in commercial insurance before I retired last spring. And my wife, Carol, and I bought a house in Westerville, Ohio in September. We wanted someplace quiet for the next chapter. A brick 2-story on a cul-de-sac. A maple tree out front. Neighbors who waved from their porches. That's what you sign up for at our age. Not this. The house passed inspection clean. Roof, foundation, wiring, all of it. The inspector shook my hand and told me we'd gotten a good one. The neighbors were even better than the listing photos suggested. A retired school teacher next door named Dolores, who brought us a casserole the day we moved in, and a young couple across the street who mowed our lawn before we'd even unpacked our own mower. For the first month, it really did feel like the life Carol and I had been chasing for 30 years. Then I started measuring for furniture. I like things exact. 26 years of underwriting will do that to you. So I walked the house with a laser measure before we ordered a sectional for the family room. The listing said 2,400 square feet. My numbers came out closer to 2,180. I chalked it up to the usual real estate rounding, the kind that pads a listing to look better online. Carol told me to stop being an insurance guy about it and just enjoy the house. I tried, but the number kept nagging at me. 220 square feet isn't rounding error. That's a room. It was late October when I found it, and it happened by accident. We were converting the upstairs guest closet into a linen cabinet, and I ran a stud finder along the back wall to hang a shelf bracket. Every wall in that closet read solid until about 4 feet in, where the tool went dead silent. No studs, no signal at all, just hollow. I figured it was a duck chase, something boring. I pulled back a strip of trim to look, and that's when I felt the air move. A closet wall shouldn't have a draft behind it. It took 2 hours with a drywall saw to open it properly. Carol stood in the doorway the whole time telling me to stop, that we should call someone, that this wasn't normal. She was right. I didn't stop. Behind the drywall was a room. Small, maybe 6 feet by 8, no windows, no light fixture, and a door on the far side that had been painted over and sealed shut from the other side. Somewhere inside what was now our garage wall, there was a folding chair, 4 children's drawings taped to the wall, at a height that told me a kid had put them there herself, not an adult reaching up. A calendar, still open to March, from a year I had to look up to place. 1998. A dusty mattress in the corner. An old cassette tape sitting on top of a toolbox, like someone had set it down meaning to come back for it. Nobody comes back for something after 26 years. We didn't sleep in that house for 3 days. I know how that sounds coming from a grown man, but I've come across enough disturbing true stories about creepy houses to know how they usually start, and I wasn't interested in becoming one of them without understanding what I was looking at first. So I went to the county records office. The original 1987 blueprint showed 4 bedrooms, including one exactly where I'd found that room, listed at 81 square feet. A permit filed in June 1998 showed a storage conversion, reclassifying that bedroom as non-livable space and dropping it from the house's official square footage. No inspection photos on file, no explanation, just a stamp and a signature I couldn't make out. The realtor who sold us the house had only handled the most recent sale from a couple who'd owned it 6 years and never mentioned a hidden room. As far as I could tell, they'd never found it either. Before them, the house changed hands twice more, quickly, like nobody wanted to stay long. Before that, one family had owned it from the beginning, the Hendricks. Dolores remembered them. She'd lived on that street since the neighborhood was built, and when I asked about the Hendricks family, her face changed in a way I didn't like. A husband, a wife, and a daughter. A quiet girl nobody saw much after a certain point. Maybe 9 or 10 the last time Dolores remembered her playing outside. Then one week in the spring of 1998, the family listed the house and left within the month. Dolores said the wife stopped by once to say goodbye and looked, in her words, like a woman who hadn't slept in a year. Nobody on the street ever heard from any of them again. I want to be clear. I found no evidence of a crime, no police report, no news story, nothing that would hold up as more than a bad feeling, and a room that shouldn't exist. 26 years of reading files taught me the difference between a story and a fact, and all I actually have is the room itself, and what it makes me imagine every time I think about those drawings taped up at a height only she could reach. Here's the part I haven't told anyone outside of this. 2 weeks after we opened the room, I went back in to take photos for the contractor coming to seal it properly. The mattress had shifted. Not much, maybe 8 inches, like something had leaned against it recently. Near the sealed door on the garage side, there was a second flashlight sitting on the floor, not the burned out one that had been there since 1998, a newer one. I picked it up and clicked the switch. It turned on. We found the other entrance a week later, a panel in the garage, behind a shelf of paint cans, opening into the same space from the far side. It hadn't been drywalled shut like the closet side. It had a simple hook latch on the inside. We've since had the whole thing sealed for good, inspected, and documented with the county. Carol says she doesn't think about it anymore. I don't entirely believe her, and I don't entirely believe myself either, because some nights I still hear something in that wall that sounds less like a draft and more like a room remembering it used to have a door. If you've ever discovered something strange inside your home, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below.